Good evening, everyone. This is the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority, regular meeting, June 19, 2012, 6:30 p.m. Our Mayor Romero will not be in today, so I'll be chairing this meeting. Attorney, if you could please report to us what went on in closed session?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council met in closed session and discussed items A, B, C, D, and F. Direction was given, no reportable action was taken. Item E was continued until after open session unless the council decides at that point to remove it from the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. This meeting is called to order. City Clerk, please take note of the attendance. Thank you. And our Pledge of Allegiance can be please led by Mr. Ben Horton.
Face the flag. Place your heart over your hand over your heart. Pledge allegiance. Ready, begin.
Okay. Need approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first from Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Thank you. We will begin with presentations. Our first presentation is by the Economic Development Commission. Mr. Hargrave? No, that wouldn't be Mr. Hargrave. Mr. Horton, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Ben Horton. I'm the chair of the Economic Development Commission. In my report, I'm going to be talking about what we have been working on, what we're continuing to work on. One of the items we've been working on is the stature awards. At this time, we're putting everything in place for the different classifications. In this award, it will not be just retail or business. We're going to have different classification and reference for the awards. For instance, retail, commercial, industry, nonprofit, and also education. And we'll continue to work on that part. One of the things that we're looking into also is this new energy, wind energy. We understand that San Luis already approved the concept to start working on it. That's one of the things that we're working on to bring across. And it's something new. One of the other items that we're looking into is the relationship of the enterprise zone in reference to the city of Calexico. The other part that we're looking into is to have a better understanding with our neighbor city to the south, which is Mexicali. We're looking at the concept of working together with them in reference to certain projects, in reference to the industry, how we can tie into it. There's certain factors that come into play where certain things are manufactured in Mexicali, and they require that there's an inspection that takes place in the United States. We're looking at the possibility of having the inspections done here in Calexico, and then it goes to the designated cities, and instead of having it to go to a certain place, inspect and go to another port. Our point is that this will save a certain amount of cost involved in reference to the end product. One of the things that we're looking into is our transportation. I hope I say this in a way that I understand that even the school is having certain, let's say, issues or things that are coming up in reference to the transportation, the school buses. We have, in Calexico, we have our own transit system, which is like Calexico Transit and other transit system, which could work together with the school and maybe have a point where the kids can make it to class if we could set up certain ideas to work with that part. It's a new concept, something that's new, but I had the idea they do the same idea in New York City, and they have that ordinary transit to work with the schools in order to transport the students to the schools. It's a concept that we could look into, and we could see if it's viable for our community. And one of the other points, to make sure I got my notes here, is to have a better understanding about the business and looking at the downtown. As I walk downtown, I notice that a lot of the businesses, storefronts are empty. And these are absentee landlords. I'm looking at the point where we can start maybe directly, not just sending them a letter, maybe meeting with them. I know a lot of them are absentee, to see what we can do. Now, sometimes businesses are set to a certain square footage that has to be worked out. But let's say maybe the city can help the landlords in order to get businesses into those empty locations, because an empty business only hurts everybody concerned. And then also, as I was walking downtown and through the city in the evening, we have a lot of trash on the streets. Economically, and the overlook of the city, that's not good for the city. And we shouldn't forget our downtown. We shouldn't forget our city as a whole. It's a beautiful city. We have a lot of great people that live in the city. And maybe we should have a little bit more pride about how our city look. So that concludes my my report. Is there any questions from the distinguished members of the City Council?
Any questions from the council? Thank you, Mr. Horton, for your hard work on the Economic Development Commission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next presentation is by the Finance Advisory Board. Mr. Hargrave.
Good evening, members of the council, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the public. My name is Carlton Hargrave, and I am the chairman of the Financial Advisory Committee. And Financial Advisory Committee came before you on April 18th, and we did a presentation. At that time, at that presentation, at the conclusion of it, it was determined that perhaps before we move forward, we should get an opinion, a legal opinion as to the legal ramifications of moving forward and changing different sections of our business license. It was also recommended that we form a committee of council people, along with the financial advisory and certain department heads, as well as some people from the Chamber of Commerce and Business community to get together and discuss these different items. But the first thing that we wanted to do before we did any of that is get the legal opinion as to what kind of grounding we were standing on. I will say that we got that opinion today. And so we have been waiting for that opinion. We got the opinion today. And based upon the legal opinion that we've got from our legal counsel, what I feel that we need to do now is move forward with that committee. We could not move forward until we knew what kind of legal ground we were on. But now we do know what kind of legal ground we're on. There are some major obstacles in changing and amending our business license ordinance. So we have to tread very carefully. There are a number of administrative things that we can do to clean up in-house. And quite frankly, I think that if we do these administrative things, cleaning up our act in-house, it will go a long way to solving our business license problem in the collection and the misunderstandings about what is the business license versus what is the impact fee portion of it, separating those things out. But the bottom line is that we have got the opinion from the attorney now, and we have the guidance as to which way to go. And I think that we can rapidly move forward now and make some recommendations to the City Council as to how we need to proceed with this. Okay. Any questions?
Okay, we're looking forward to an update. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the announcements, public comments section of this agenda. Note, public comments are welcome. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Please complete a speaker form prior to the start of the meeting. If the item you wish to comment on is a closed session item, please comment now. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, you will take your comment when we get to that item on the agenda. There's several requests for the public section, and there's only one here that has a few different requests on the same page, so I guess I'll take care of the public portion of it now, and then move on and accept this one sheet for all different items. I guess the first one we'll call upon is Daniel Fitzgerald, being that we're talking about a lot of presentations. He has a presentation from the Enterprise Zone.
Daniel Fitzgerald, the manager of the Calexico Imperial County Enterprise Zone. Actually, just bringing good news.
Thank you.
I don't have a check. Sorry. But I did buy a lottery ticket. Anyway, so just wanted to, again, I came before the council at the beginning of April just to give a detailed presentation, but just wanted to come and try and do some regular updates on some different things that are going on. In the past couple of months, I attended a couple of trade shows, and it's nice to see that there's a little bit more excitement about the economy, and there's actually more opportunity for expansion. I attended the Mexport trade show in Otay Mesa, and they're able to see a lot of companies that are looking to expand their business also, not just their operations in Otay, but bring them here to Calexico, and that was encouraging to see, and a lot more activity than's been happening in the previous years. I attended the shopping center convention in Las Vegas, was able to meet with some of their property owners and developers, in particular with the Grand Plaza development, and really see a lot of their progress, including meeting with some of their key people that pretty much just come out once a year, and that's what, including their attorneys who handle the leases in New York, and seeing the progress that they're making, which was exciting to do. Also been working closely with a couple of companies in the industrial part of Calexico, and nice to see of course, a new company that's come in, and we were able to host a job fair at the Calexico One Stop, made sure it happened there to get the Calexico hires and those people, and it was really exciting to see about 40 jobs that were available, but also 200 people apply, so you can still really see the need for that. But what was nice, those same applicants were able to then also transition to another company that's expanding. They were able to receive, it's a textile company, they were able to secure some new contracts, and they're hiring 10 to 20 new people. So it's nice to see those types of things. That's all I have.
Good news. Thank you, Daniel. Next, Steve Benson. Subject is funding for Boys and Girls Clubs.
I'm Steve Benson from Brawley, but I'm the outgoing president of the Boys and Girls Club of the Imperial Valley. You might have seen the paper today. We opened up a new club in El Centro, and it was a great article, and we love to open up clubs throughout the whole valley. Yesterday was the first day at El Centro PAL. We're open from 11 to 5, and it's $25 per child for the whole summer through August. I think we had 80 people show up the first day, and we filled up all age groups. But that was a great thing. I'd like to see it happen in Calexico, and I just came here to reintroduce myself. I've met many of you as I've been campaigning, and I know that everyone's focused on youth in Calexico, as am I, but I'd like to work with the school districts and the city council, understanding that you have Measure H coming along, that there's other opportunities that the school district might have. There is a new president that is Jean Oswalt, and she is going to be serving through the rest of my term and into the next term. And she will be running a committee that's an expansion committee, so we're going to try to set up some meetings. She couldn't make it today, though. But if you don't know, Boys and Girls Club is a national organization. We focus on youth from age of elementary all the way through teens. We do run a teen center, or used to, in Brawley. Funding became tight, but we focus on leadership and community service for youth. Also, healthy lifestyle choices and teaching them to stay out of crime and trouble from 3 to 5 p.m. is our main focus. And then in the summer, we run a full-day program. So academics is also a big part of it. We run Sylvan Learning Centers. We can run after-school programs in the school districts. So I just wanted to put it out there for the city council to think about as you're looking for ways to spend all your money. And I know it's always tight this time of year, but it is budget season for some cities, so appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions? Maybe later. No. Definitely stay in touch with us. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Oscar Gonzalez, I believe you wanted to make some public comments, right? I saw that you put special comments, but I think that's what you referred to, right? Okay. It's yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Oscar Gonzalez, 844 Encanto Terrace. I'm not going to be loquacious, Mr. Moreno, because you said we have to go see the finals. Anyway, thank you. I want to just tell Mr. Rodriguez, for the next time you arrest anybody, go informally. I was just given the paperwork, how much they spent in trying to put me in jail, and it was about $25,000. Unnecessarily, given that we have a tight budget, but I think that if Mr. Rodriguez would have handled that informally, that wouldn't have been needed. I don't know if it was 3 city councilmen, I heard they did, and it's too sad if it's true because, hey, I defended myself, it didn't cost me anything. There's one pending on Sally Hernandez. I filed 2 restraining orders. I'm happy that Gilbert Otero, District Attorney, did not file any criminal complaints because he said there was no investigation, and that's typical of Calexico, according to Mr. Otero. And on the other 2, they knocked off Nick Servin. I may or may not have said some juicy words when I was incarcerated, and I did, but they dropped that charge altogether, and also the restraining. And I'm hoping to get Mr. Bolander disqualified so I don't have to report every week when I have to come here. But I behaved, and nothing happened to me. And I was arrested not because of those restraining orders. I was arrested because September the 2nd, 2011, my daughter was in intensive care, and I know I didn't have a driver's license, and they caught me. And I didn't go to court because I moved several times. But the next day, I was released, and here I am. And I hope, Mr. Rodriguez, you learned a lesson. The next time you try to get somebody arrested, try to resolve it informally. And there's no excuse because I know this kid. I've known him since he was a little kid, and he's younger than me. But he did what he did. He rolled the dice, and he called it, and I won't forget it. But what comes around goes around.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, on your slip here, you put presentations A and B. Did you want me comments on those as well? Okay, thank you. So you're only left here for number 7, is that right? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, next we have Monique Alford, and this is for the first annual drug summit.
Well, good evening, City Council members. My name is Monique Alford, and I come on behalf of Margaret Sousa, our Executive Director, and our agency, Shore Helpline Center, to currently invite you to our first annual drug summit that will be held on June 29, 2012, from 9 to 12. Where we'll be discussing the war on drugs in our Imperial Valley border community and awareness on drug culture in the Imperial County. And it will be a great honor to have you all there to support this cause. It's just to get a little intake of what's really going on, just being so close to the border and how it's affecting our youth, and not only our youth, but the people from the community. So again, it will be a great honor to have you there. I did leave in a registration form. If you guys would like to attend, you can go ahead. The information is there where you guys can fax the registration form. No, yeah, any questions?
You said this was open to the public?
This is more for city council members, social services, and law enforcement, just because the stuff that we'll be discussing is a little sensitive, and we don't know if this could be open to the public yet. So it's more for law enforcement and city council. Anybody who has hands-on training with drug usage, so on and so forth. Any other questions?
Any questions, gentlemen? Thank you.
No, thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much. Hopefully one of us can show up for that. Okay, next is Diana Daniels. Subject is the animal shelter.
Thank you. I have some good news, actually. I know I come here and I preach and I give my little spiel, but I have some good news, so relax, it's going to be okay. Just, I want to go ahead and thank Lieutenant Gerardo. I want to thank Nick Servin for being outstanding and helping me out a great deal. They made a lot of changes. One major change that we still need to make is the roof. The roof is a big thing. I know it's crazy expensive, but I have some ideas on what we can do. I have had people who ask me if they can donate something and it can be raffled off. I said, absolutely, why not? So if you guys are okay with that, I'd like to talk more about that. And I'd like to get together with Lieutenant and with Nick, and we can just go further. But the good news is, I had the privilege today of attending IVC, and I spoke to 60 students today. I told them about the shelter and how they should come volunteer. There's a program that is called Upward Bound, where I believe what it is high school students who are seniors are in this program where it transitions into college and kind of teaches them what to expect. With that, they also have to do some community service. So the women in charge of it, asked me to just talk about it some more, and I came in, I showed them the same PowerPoint I showed you guys, they loved it. So she said that 20 of the 60 students who are there are gonna be 18 and over. So most likely they wanna come and do it at the shelter. It's not 100% guarantee, but from all the places in the community, she said that it would be great to do it there. So I thought it was a pretty great turnout, 60 kids. It's something, so I'm trying to get more volunteers out there. I know I'm the only one there right now, but there will be more. So that's the good news that I had. And I just want to thank you guys for taking me seriously and making all these changes happen. It means a lot to me. And hopefully next time it'll be more. So, thank you. Sir?
Can you elaborate a little on some of the positive changes that have taken place?
Yes, from what I was told, well, I was there about 3 weeks ago, and then I went back a little more. There's been misting installed. There's been a couple of changes. I think they also, put the tarp around the roof so it blocks more of the sun away. Some of the water there from the way it comes out, it's better pressure, so it's not just leaking out all the time. The food has been covered up. I know that, and signs have been posted. So I'm very, very happy about that. I know that was some of the issues that I brought up, and the fact that it was taken seriously is really, really appreciated. So thank you very much.
Oh.
Like I said, the next thing they want to do is do the roof, and eventually to do a 5K and just raise more money for the valley. And I'll be there for sure if it ever happens. Running the 5K, maybe I'll get first place. I don't know, but we'll see. No, I'm just kidding. Anybody else?
Well, we'd like to thank you for taking the lead on this. If it wasn't for you, none of these improvements would have happened.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank our staff,
Diana.
Lieutenant Gerardo, and
Yeah.
our city engineer.
Everyone's been really helpful, and everyone's been, just kind of, it's nice to be taken seriously, and I know sometimes, younger people just kind of, whatever, but I've been taken seriously. It feels good to be noticed. It really does. So thank you so much for taking that.
And Calexico has many dog days of summer ahead of us, so hopefully,
Boy,
Ha, 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 ha. Anybody else?
No comment. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you so much.
thank you very much for your
Thank you.
service.
And yes, again, thank you to the staff of the City of Calexico for helping out. Okay, moving right along, we have now Antonio Garcia with CPAL, update and request.
Good evening, council members, Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Antonio Garcia. I'm the current president of the Calexico Parents Athletic League. I'm here just to give you a brief update of what's going on right now and then make a little special request. We just had our closing ceremonies for the last soccer league, soccer tournament a couple of weeks ago, where approximately 1,600 kids participated in the tournament. We had several people show up, and we want to show our appreciation for them by naming them individually. First is Councilman Luis Castro. Thank you for showing up, sir. I appreciate it. Candidates, Mr. Steve Benson, Stella Mendoza was there. So was Derek Kwan, former mayor, and Councilman John R. Renison was there. We want to thank Mr. Willie Hermosillo for his never-ending support. Thank you, Senor Lot. Thank you very much. We want to thank Mr. Daniel Romero for arranging the helicopter to land. That was awesome. The kids loved it. I want to thank Mr. Oscar Rodriguez for having this part done that. Thank you very much, Senor. And Mr. Nick Servin, thank you. Appreciate everything. It went well, and the kids are enthused. They loved it. This July, they're going to participate in the national games in Chula Vista. They will participate July 20, 21, 22nd. We're going to send 6 teams from CPAL to go participate at the nationals. They won the state last year, so this year they're going to go on over nationals. Wish them luck. I want to thank everybody for the support. I know that everybody has been there before at some of our functions. Mayor Pro Tem, Maritza, you've been there before. Mr. Hodge, you've been there. Mr. Moreno has been there. But we appreciate every time you go. We thank you very much for everything. Show support. Appreciate it. We have upcoming basketball league. It's going to start in 10 days. The games will be at the Calexico outdoor courts and at the Willie Moreno gym. We approximately have 400 kids registered to play, and that's going to kick off pretty soon. Earlier I think yesterday or today, Mr. Servin sent me an interesting email concerning the West Nile virus. And I looked at that. We've seen that before, and it kind of opened our eyes a little more, saying now, since the city is taking note of it, it just brings me to the request. We have a major funding now approved through Measure H. And I understand it's over $1 million per year for the next 20 years. We have let seep through our hands a golden opportunity to look really good in the public, but by not developing Adrian Cordova Park. That is a park on the corner of Clinton and Zapata on the northeast side of Calexico. Right now it's an eyesore with the mounds of dirt that have been there for the longest time. Before, when we were PAL, we developed a plan. Everything seemed to be good. We ran into major obstacles, legalities, and so forth. That would be a golden opportunity for the city of Calexico, for this department, for the recreation of the kids, everybody, and to honor one of our fallen heroes.
Mr. Garcia, not to interrupt you, but I think we need a little clarification because I know there's a few members here that don't understand what PAL is today and what we had as PAL before. So
A little history?
briefly, if you'd like to.
Sure. The Police Athletic League was around. When I joined it, it was brought up. It was closed for a while, brought up, and we got major participation from the kids, a lot of interest, a lot of hard work. Due to official economic reasons, that was closed. We ended up having to shut down PAL. And sometime later, we decided to create our own organization, and we developed the Calexico Parents Athletic League. That is what CPAL stands for. We got help from Mr. Luis Fuentes, former mayor, councilman, and county supervisor, to organize the thing and get our feet on the ground. Now, about this day, we have approximately 3,000 to 4,000 participants, and we're growing. And we were looking everywhere to play. Unfortunately, right now we're playing at reservoirs, storm reservoirs, and that's what brought about this email from Mr. Servin. He's looking out for his kids and for the city. I don't blame him. We looked into it a little more and into the fine points of that possibility happening. It usually targets people over 50 years of age. And even then, they have to have a combination of conditions, heart problems, high blood pressure. And even then, it's a very low risk. And anybody younger, he has even less of a risk. We don't want any risk at all. Therefore, you know what, we should make a major push for that park.
Well, thank you, Mr. Garcia. I know that many of us have that on our mind. I know that I just had a long discussion with one of the Measure H members yesterday, but we wouldn't be able to make any real discussion or decisions with you on that topic at this point, but most likely down the road, we'll be having that as a major idea to talk about. Any questions from?
Just a comment. Yesterday at the Measure H, recreation was a big part of the discussion, mostly facilities and the vision within 5 to 10 years of the recreation facilities in the city of Calexico, specifically in regard to the water plant baseball diamonds. And knowing that the port of entry will soon be a big part of that Cesar Chavez corridor, is that we needed to come up with a master plan. And I believe Mr. Servin was going to be involved in that before the approval of some money for some of the grants.
Okay.
But maybe you could also be part of that too as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this entails a big change within the, not only infrastructure, but the facilities that are below par within the city of Calexico.
True. We've investigated the area, and we have approximately 1,800 signatures from the residents in and around that area that approve the idea. Mm-hmm. And just about every aspect of the recreational needs here was addressed at that particular time. Softball, basketball, soccer. We even had a vision of a gym, multipurpose gym.
And going along those lines, if I may, Mr. Hodge, maybe perhaps that would be a big topic of discussion for the next town hall meeting.
Yeah, bring back that park. It's there. It's set to make a park.
Which park was that?
It's the Adrian Cordova Park. It's on the corner of Clinton and Zapata on the northeast side.
Okay.
Right now, half of it is developed. It's got a soccer field and
Yeah.
some things for the kids, but there's 10 acres of dirt, I want to call it, that are just sitting there.
When is our next town hall scheduled? Do we have a date?
I was going to mention that, so I'll be happy to do that. What the heck? Oh, July 31st
Okay.
at
That will
West
be
Side.
here at City Hall?
No, we were thinking of, we'll go to the west side, we'll
Fire
go to the
department.
fire department, fire station over there, and we'll have it at 7 PM.
7:30,
July 31st.
sundown.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you,
other
folks.
questions? Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Okay, as far as public comments, I believe that's it. I don't have any more for public comments, so we're going to move on now to general comments by council members. We're starting with Mr. I didn't see it. Is it specifically for an item? What's your name? I didn't see it, Javier. Is it a, for
You left
public
it back
comment?
there.
Did you want to address a public comment? Okay.
Honorable Council, City Administration, members of the public, Javier Gonzalez, 237 Hernandez Street. I just wanted to update you on January, mid-January, I got appointed to the Centinela State Citizens Advisory Board, the prison board. Just wanted to update you that I haven't gotten a word from them. I have worked with Erika for the last 3 months. They asked me to submit my resume. I did. I left 2 more messages, and I just haven't gotten a contact. I'm not sure if their committee, it's formed or it's organized. I did serve there from 2000 to 2004. I was very involved in their programs, their cleanup program, their bicycle refurbishing program, tree planting program. And I just wanted to let you know the situation. I'll be calling tomorrow. I'll come and visit Erica, and I'll be calling tomorrow and probably visit the prison. Because when I served back in 2000, I came to the council and gave updates every 3 months. Just want to let you know that I'm not sure if their committee is organized or not, but just want to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Erica has been very helpful, and I submitted my resume. Haven't heard anything from them.
You haven't heard anything from Erica? Or you
No,
haven't-
from the prison.
From them, okay.
Yeah, and I believe this term expires in December, so if I can't get into that committee, I'll be submitting an application for a commission because I got a little time and I want to help my community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We'll be looking forward to that information. Okay, now moving on. General comments by council members, starting with Mr. Moreno.
Yes, real quickly, I was at the closing ceremony for the Desert Sun Girls Softball on Saturday night, which was well attended by many members of the community. Kudos to Chuy Iniguez and Nick Lira for organizing such a great event out there at the Nosotros Park. Also, our Little League Tournament of Champions was Calexico were the champions, beating Brawley, beating Central, beating Westmoreland. So we're very proud of that. Our baseball and softball teams are doing well. We're looking forward to a prosperous 4th of July in the next couple of weeks, and the best of luck to our 4 service clubs that are going to be selling fireworks in and around the Calexico area. And I'm still working with Mr. Hodge on our town hall meeting that will be July 31st on the west side of town, working with the Chamber of Commerce ad hoc, the casino and the Grand Plaza, and hopefully these things are moving rather smoothly. Thank you, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Castro.
Yes, question. The Adrian Park and also the Kramet, I believe it's Kramet, the one on
Next to the high school?
close to the high school, yeah. There is a granting process on that, city man.
No, those were the ones that we had applied with the state under Prop 86, I believe. And I believe I shared with you that our applications were not funded.
Okay, thank you on that. And also, there is a time frame on the city audit from 2020 2011 to 2012? What is the time frame on that?
Spoken to the auditors who are responsible for issuing the report, and they have told me they look to issue it the last week of June, or at the latest, the first week in July.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't get the last part. So the
The-
time frame is where?
They're looking to issue the last week of June or the first week in July.
The first week in July. So that's been, you're working on the city audit, right? And the last year we received a fine for that same issue. And what do you think about this year?
The fine that was received last time was not for the last year. I believe it was like 3 years before that. The state usually takes about anywhere from a year to 2 years to review their audits and find out what the timetables were in submitting the audits, and therefore it'll take a while before they evaluate it, and then if there is a penalty that they issue, it usually takes about a year to 2 years down the road before they issue that penalty. This year, we don't know whether or not there will be issued a penalty or not. We probably won't know till, again, a year, 2 years down the road. Typically, your audits should be submitted by the end of March.
The end of March?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Mr. Hodge.
This one is mainly directed to, not here, Sandra Toller. Sandra, I was very pleased that Measure H approved and even increased the amount of $100,000 for the summer programs. But I was told, and I'm seeking validity here, that the community center is closed during the summer? That's not true. Could you clarify that then?
No, that is not correct. We usually end summer programs about the second week of August, so it's not really closed, we just don't have activities. But this year, I'm going to try to extend them a little further. So no, that is not correct.
Well, that's what I meant. I mean, well, okay, the facility is open, but are there summer activities indoors for the?
There will be up until about August 16th. What happens is in the last 2 weeks of August, there's not a lot of participation by children because they're getting ready for school. They're taking their final resting weeks before school starts. So typically, we don't get a lot of participation. But there will be activities up until the middle of August.
All right, great then. I'm glad for the clarification.
And aren't you having something next Wednesday? Book signing, is it?
Yes, at the library, we're having an author visit. His name is Dominic Carrillo. He wrote, you're going to have to help me. To be Frank Diego. So if you'd like to meet him, he'll be doing a book signing and a book discussion at the library. And tomorrow, we're having the kickoff for the summer reading program at the library. We're having a family night in which children do different kinds of activities, and then everybody gets a free book to take home. So starting tomorrow, for the next 8 weeks, we will have a lot of activities for people of all ages and different interests. So I invite you to go to our websites to look for the calendars.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'd like to report that I just returned from attending the Binational Convention of Sister Cities held in Rosarito. And it was a very interesting convention, met a lot of people, learned a lot of information. And one very important meeting that I had was with the Director of Tourism from Mexicali, and he explained to me how the new medical lane is working here at our border. He talked about how the doctors, medical offices, and dentists register with his department, the Department of Tourism, and those doctors then can provide their patients passes to be able to cross back the border much more quickly. As a matter of fact, we were able to benefit from a tourism permit like that when we returned. Being that it was Sunday, Father's Day, there was probably about a 4-hour line at the San Isidro port. and I think our trip back was about 45 minutes. So it was a great time to get to know a lot about Rosarito, and that's what the Sister Cities is all about. I had a conversation with Chief Mercado about the Sister Cities relationship between Mexicali and Calexico, that once established, then there's quite a bit of exchanges, from cultural exchanges and, like what we did just recently, exchanges of equipment. So that was a great experience. I really look forward to maybe meeting more of the members in other cities that may be participating in these types of events. The other item was a question, I think. A question for Chief Nujar, now that we talked about fireworks. When will the fireworks stands be going up, and when will the fireworks start to be sold? Because that's coming real quick.
June 28th, July 4th.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moreno.
Fire Marshal Moreno, thank you. No, just kidding. Yeah, we will be conducting our fire safety program with the nonprofits. It's mandatory that all members who will be supervising the sale of these fireworks attend a mandatory training that we put on as part of the program. Sales, they are scheduled to be opened June 28th at noon, and will complete their sales by 10 o'clock on July 4th.
July 4th or
July 4th is the last day at 10 o'clock at night. So July 5th, they're picking up all the remaining fireworks that are unsold.
Okay, and it was a very successful event last year, or sales last year.
Correct, and I don't know if you are aware of that, but the city of Brawley is now looking into the potential of allowing their nonprofits to sell fireworks as well. What they did take to council, is my understanding after speaking with City Manager Moore out there, is that the council approved discharging of fireworks in their city this year as a change. So although they can't sell them in Brawley, they will allow correct. So they will be able to fire those fireworks this year in their city. So hopefully they're either going to be buying them in Calexico, we hope, but if not, they will be buying them in Calapat.
Very good deal. Now that you're there, can you tell us a little bit about what we talked about yesterday, the training that's coming up, the very important training?
Yeah.
Correct. We were afforded the opportunity to host a class through the Texas A&M, Texas Engineering University out there, where they're going to be providing a senior officials workshop where it involves the elected officials, public agencies such as cities managers, department heads, emergency officials, public health, safety. It's a workshop where we actually provide some type of training in emergency operations, mainly how to disseminate the information into our respective professions and what role we play in each of those emergencies. I attended this training up in Calapat in November and solicited FEMA to try to grant us this opportunity for this workshop. We've tried to arrange it a couple times, and they really feel it's important for us to have it. So far, I got a really good mix of people that will be attending. There's so far about 26 people that are registered. It is a 6-hour course, and it will be in Calexico on Thursday. So those of you that wish to attend, please just get a hold of me, and we can make some room available for you, and it's a really good program.
So it's this Thursday?
This Thursday, 8:30.
Your military time here, right?
Yes.
So what time is it?
It's 8:30
In the morning?
Yes, sir.
0800.
0830 to 1600, so.
Okay, got that.
Okay. Any questions, just email me or call me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. We are now going to be moving on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Or any questions? Do I have a second? Consent agenda?
Moved.
Motion by Mr. Moreno, second? Or do you still have questions? Mr. Castro? Okay, so I guess there's questions, huh?
You have a question?
No, I'll second it.
Okay.
No problem.
First by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge. Please vote. Mr. Moreno? Please vote.
Sorry.
Thank you. Motion passed. Moving on to business items. Any questions, or do I hear a motion? I do have several slips with questions for business items, so I will go ahead and take we could go ahead and take the comments first, if you like, and then go ahead and vote after that. Okay. First would be Ricardo Servin on item number 5C.
On the business items, we should go ahead and probably do number 4 first, the discussion on that, and then if there's any
Okay.
public comments on
Okay, I'm
number
sorry,
4.
Mr. Servin.
Yes,
Any public comments?
Sure, it's up to you. You can, if there's a staff report, you can do that first and have the public comments on 4,
Okay.
or you can hear the
I
public
jumped
comments
in,
first.
I'm sorry about that. Item number 4 is the, with regard to the Joint Strikes Fighter, and only comment here is from Daniel Fitzgerald. You want to come up and,
If
We'll
you'd
take your
like me
comments
to
now.
give the staff report before you pull people out, I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah. I
okay,
think
go ahead.
Okay. Item number 4 has to do with the Joint Strike Fighter home basing. If you will recall, about a year ago, when we hosted the League of California Cities here in Calexico, that issue was brought up before the League local board and membership. And at that time, it had started about the issue of the fact that the F-35C Joint Strike Fighter was looking at competition in reference to where to host that particular force. There is a competition going on between Naval Air Facility, and I don't recall which the other city is, but there are 2 cities that are vying for the hosting of that particular force. As you know, the Naval Air Facility brings a lot of people in with any time they bring any kind of airplane type of force that establishes there at the Naval Air Facility. So obviously, it's very important that as a community of not only Calexico, but as a community of Imperial Valley, that we get together and try to, as much as possible, try to make sure that the Department of Defense understands why they should host, why Imperial Valley Naval Facility should host that particular force. This has been going on for several months, and community leaders have gotten together to try to move forward that campaign. As such, we are requested by the Board of Supervisors, specifically by Supervisor Jack Terrazas, who represents District 2 on the Board of Supervisors. He's requesting that we support this, a resolution which we have, as well as financially support the possibility of being able to educate the Department of Defense in reference to why it should be established here. There's also a caveat to that is on the flip side, the Department of Defense has recently announced that they will be doing another round of base closures. So it's very important that obviously not only do we not lose what we have at the Naval Air Facility El Centro, but also try to increase the different personnel that we have there. Because again, it's a multiplier effect as we host people in there, then obviously they also rent in our communities, they buy in our communities, and so it's very important that we support this particular initiative. As such, again, they are asking for financial commitments to be able to move this information forward to DOD and the people that are going to be making these particular decisions. We do have information. El Centro has committed to 5,000. The county has committed to 10,000. Imperial has committed to 1,000. So it is at your discretion, and it's up for your consideration if you like to participate financially. That's the information I have at this point for you.
So El Centro has contributed 5,000?
Yes, and if you will recall, I mean, if you realize the geographics, obviously they stand to have the highest impact because they're right next to the Naval Air Base. And by no means am I downplaying it that we should not participate, because I think it's a valley-wide movement, and it'll impact the whole valley. Even though we're on the south end of the valley, there still will be some impacts. So certainly we should consider participating maybe at the low end, but it's still consider participating.
think you're at the low end. Has Mexicali participated in this?
At the low end, I mean of the financial scale. As you will tell when we present our budget, why I'm telling you that.
Well, why don't we have Daniel come on over and give us some
I say
information?
$5,001. Let's beat out Central.
Hello again, and no, I still don't have a check. But anyway, I was asked by the committee to come and just speak on behalf of them. I haven't been serving on the committee, but I've been, listening to their information they've been putting out. Ms. Sue Geller, who's one of the co-chairs of the committee, asked me to be able to come up and speak in favor of this. Just as Mr. Rodriguez has talked about, this is something that can impact the valley in many, many different ways. A number of companies that are looking to expand into Calexico are ones that may have manufacturing in Mexicali, but they need to have, for any types of military contracts, made in the United States. And so the Calexico has a lot of opportunity to benefit from any type of additional military expenditures, in particular in the aerospace industry, which is growing immensely in the Mexicali region. So any type of support obviously would be of great benefit. With the committee to date, from the last I heard, has raised about $42,000, including those amounts that Mr. Rodriguez talked about. And they're looking at some additional private support as well. I can say that on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we have voted in favor of that, of the Board of Directors, of certainly supporting the Joint Strike Fighter Force and the efforts that's going on valley-wide.
Do you have any information on how much the NAF impacts the city of Calexico?
I don't have those figures at my fingertips. I could look those up and bring those back, though. I'm not sure. I think the economic impact is more on a valley basis, but they may have some community-specific information.
So what is it, an amount you think would be prudent in this case to support NAF for bringing this, was it fighter?
The Joint Strike Fighter Force?
Yeah, right.
You're asking me my recommendation? Similar to the City of Imperial, to $1,000.
1,000?
Mm-hmm. Understanding the city's financial situation, as I do.
I would tend to agree with that. I would not recommend anything higher than that.
I say $5,001.
1,001 will be higher than it. Okay, any other questions?
Is there action on this item?
Yes. What are the wishes of the council?
I would suggest $1,000.
Second that motion.
I would suggest $5,000 on this issue. I believe in the future, City of Calexico are going to look for benefit for this city, and we should support this issue. That's my concern.
Personally, I believe 1,000 would be appropriate, but would you like to reconsider your motion, Mr. Mona?
No, my motion stays at 1,000.
$1,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, looks like maybe we'll be going with 1,000. Please vote. Okay, thank you very much.
My motion is done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, motion passes 3-1. Okay, so it'll be 1,000 then authorized to provide as a...
But my motion is 5,000. It doesn't mean I not agreeing 1,000. I mean, I think it's better than nothing, but like I said, I don't have nothing against to give $1,000, but I believe they deserve more than that. That's my motion, okay? I want to clarify that.
I believe we all agree with that, they do definitely deserve more, but in consideration that other cities are around that amount, and we are financially strapped, and we have voted, so.
Okay.
But thank you for
No
your
problem.
concern. Okay, moving on now then to item number 5, and that is mayor, council member appointments. And we do have one request for comments, and that is from Ricardo Servin. 5C, appointment to street naming commission by Councilman Castro.
I'm Ricardo Sevin. I want to say that I'm representing my father in the commissioner, and the council appointed him as a member in the naming commission. But I'm representing my father because he's hard of hearing. He told me to go represent him. But I just know today that they want to appoint another person. I've been there on all the meetings that they had. Nobody has gone to the meeting since October. Nobody has been going to the meeting, only me. If they want to appoint another person, that's all right with me, but I just want to let you guys know that Rob Morak has notified all the members, the secretary, they notified by them, but nobody has gone to the meeting, the naming committee.
Okay.
That's all, I just want to say that. So,
The street name committee.
Yeah.
Street name.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Servin. Okay, moving on. We're going to start with item A, appointment to Finance Advisory Board by Councilman Hodge.
Yes, it is with great pleasure that I would like to make the appointment to Finance Advisory Board, Esther Gomez. She's well-known in the community, and she has a strong background in finances. So I know she will do an excellent job, so I make that appointment. Esther Gomez.
Good choice, Mr. Hodge. Thank you. Congratulations, Esther. Okay, next item B is appointment to Recreation Commission by Councilman Castro.
Yes, I would like to appoint to Recreation Commission Recreation Commission 2, Mazen Alazari. That's the name. Mazen Alazari. Yes. The last name is Alazhari. And, I'm sorry?
Okay.
Okay, and I believe the next appointment is to.
Well, I'll mention it now.
Is
Okay,
to-
so Recreation Commission is Mason.
Mazen, Mazan.
Okay,
That's,
Mason
is,
Lazari.
first name.
Okay, then next item is appointment to Street Naming Commission by yourself, Mr. Castro.
To Mr. Mohammed Asiad.
Asiad.
Asiad. Asiad.
Okay, very well. And item D is appointment to Beautification Commission.
To beautification, yes, I would like to appoint Señora Estrada, Carmen Estrada. She's doing a great job in Parents Athletic League. I believe she's gonna continue working with the City of Calexico. Gracias por tomar la posición, señora Estrada. And, she's a well-known person. Thank you.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Thank you. Last item is item E, appointment to Beautification Commission by myself. And I appoint Manuel Hernandez to the Beautification Commission. Okay. Okay, so that is it for the appointments. Now moving on to our Enterprise Fund consent agenda. Item number 6, there are 3 requests for public comment. I'm sorry, 2 requests for public comment on item number 6. Would the council like to make any comments on this item before we move on to public comments? Or
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Yes, what kind of truck is that? I mean,
Mr. Rodriguez?
we have what's
I'm
wrong
going to
with
let
that?
the Public Works Director describe what we're talking about here.
We have an old truck that's used to clean the sewers, and I believe it was purchased back in the 60s. So obviously, it's endured quite a trip, and it's still being used even as of this morning. So obviously, we have a lot of problems with it, and we've been battling with trying to buy a new truck to fulfill those duties. The trucks they have nowadays are very nice, And they can do a lot of things that the truck back then couldn't do. And so it'll save a lot of efforts for the personnel running the equipment. It'll also eliminate some additional equipment, and it's just overall a better machine. And what it does is it's installed into the sewer, the hose, and you clean up the sewer line, various means depending on what you're cleaning for. And then you have a vacuum hose attached to it, which is used to extract, well, I won't try to be too graphic, but it extracts sediment.
Can you draw a picture first?
Yes, I could, but so these trucks are quite expensive, and we put it out to bid. We had a couple of bidders, and we selected the bidder based on the performance, the specifications that we noted on there. So that's what this is about. The lowest bidder, however, proposed a different tank, which is why we're rejecting the bid. We liked the machine, and had it been submitted with a different material, we probably would have selected that one without any question. But the material that was substituted for what we requested, which is stainless steel, we know of some machines that are being used throughout the valley, and they're experiencing a bit of rust within 10 years. So obviously, we don't want to invest all this money and have the machine be having experienced a lot of work after 10 years.
Well, that is great. That is going to benefit the city of Calexico. And that track is going to pay by a grant or by general fund, or from where are you going to pay that?
The enterprise fund.
Enterprise
Yes.
fund.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Servin. Any more questions?
Yeah, why wasn't a photo of the truck put in the packet? Just a question. I thought maybe we gotta buy something, we gotta see it, no? Okay, well, maybe next time. Don't you think so? A picture of it?
Yeah.
I agree.
We saw the picture of the police units that we purchased, so, but anyway.
Okay, so let's move on then to public comments. The first public comment is Matthew Woods on this item, item number 6. And you're with, is it pronounced Haker Equipment?
Definitely right.
Okay.
Haker Equipment. Good evening, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem and Council. My name is Matthew Woods, and I'm the Vice President of Haker Equipment Company. I'm here to talk about your truck that you're looking at replacing that was actually purchased in 1994, which currently makes that truck 16 years old, about the typical life of a machine of this caliber. I'd like to start off first, though, with congratulating the council for balancing the budget in 2011 and 2012. In these times, I know it's extremely difficult to find ways to do that while keeping a high level of public service, keeping staff intact, along with maintaining pay levels and keeping benefits intact. Just with a few of the speakers tonight, I better understand the financial present situation that the city is strapped with. However, this evening, I would like to ask the council to reject the bid of the sewer truck that is going for approval and being selected to be for a plumber's depot. I would like to ask the council to award the purchase to Haker Equipment Company based on the fact that we were the lowest responsive bidder, meeting the required specifications. I might add that we were not only the lowest responsive bidder, we were the lowest responsive bidder by $80,000, a significant amount of money when you're strapped. I'm asking the council to consider the proposal based on several facts. First, Haker Equipment Company was the lowest responsive bidder that met the specifications. The area where the directors are stating that Haker Equipment Company specifically did not meet the debris requested of 3/16 304L stainless steel is not correct.
The specification actually states or equal. If the specification had read no exceptions, we would have had proposed a stainless steel tank. The Vactor sewer truck that we represent is constructed of a product called X10 steel. It's a premium steel, which is a special blend that exceeds the specification in areas of wearability, strength, abrasion resistance, and is not inferior as stated. All surrounding communities use our Vactor brand with these materials for over 50 years in local neighboring communities. As a matter of fact, a call was made from the city of Calexico to the local city agencies such as El Centro, Imperial, Brawley, and they were asked if they had stainless steel tanks, and the response was, no, it's a waste of money, and we have never had a problem with our Vactor tanks. I understand and can definitely appreciate the fact that the city of Calexico is indeed making sure they are purchasing a machine that is going to last a long time, and the debris tanks last. We would be delivering a machine that meets the specification as an equal to, and delivering the same performance, in many cases superior performance. The required warranty in the specification of 15 years on the tanks was also met. Your current truck is 16 years old. We have built over 15,000 sewer trucks with the same material, which is approximately 10 times more than any other manufacturer in the world. The city of Calexico would not be receiving any additional warranty, any additional value, any additional life of the equipment. Lastly, would not be reducing any future maintenance costs by spending an additional $80,000 for stainless steel tanks. Secondly, over the last several years, all bids submitted by Plumbers Depot are most often significantly bid lower in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $20,000 or close to our bids. Haker Equipment Company and the Vactor sewer truck that we are proposing is typically more expensive based on previous bids due to its superior design and material used to build them. I can elaborate more on these designs and materials used at the end of my message to the council if the council would like me to explain further. Council, it strikes me odd to see Plumbers Depot $80,000 high bid. Essentially, the council has been asked to approve and spend $80,000 for no added value. If financed as proposed by the city manager, this would be approximately $85,000 of the taxpayer dollars wasted. If the council were to review previous bids presented to other communities such as LA County Public Works and Harupa Community Services District, you would notice almost $100,000 in difference in price you see from Plumbers Depot to the city of Calexico. The city is getting no added value for over $80,000 in additional costs. This savings is over double the overall savings of the entire 2011-2012 city budget. Haker Equipment Company meets these specifications as an equal and as requested from the city. I understand we don't win every bid, and if the price bid was even close, I wouldn't be here this evening, but it's not. It needs to make sense. Lastly, I would like to bring to the attention a California Vehicle Code, Section 35406A, which states, the load upon any vehicle or on the front vehicle of vehicle shall not exceed more than 3 feet beyond the foremost part of the front tire of the vehicle or the front bumper of the vehicle if it is equipped with a front bumper. The law no longer states approximately 3 feet, is exactly 36 inches. To my point, the law specifically relates to hose reels on the sewer truck that you're about to purchase. I have pictures if you'd like to see them. The design of the Haker proposed vehicle allows us to meet this law and safety requirement. Many are aware in the industry that the GapVax product does not meet these vehicle code requirements with the current design and configuration. While it wasn't a requirement in your specification and it is not an obligation to me, our distributorship, or manufacturer, it is a California vehicle code that must be recognized by the city of Calexico. It is the city's responsibility to know the vehicle codes and to comply. The last several trucks delivered by Plumbers Depot that I have inspected do not meet this requirement. It could be considered grossly negligent if the city accepted delivery of a vehicle that could possibly harm the public by protruding too far in front of the vehicle. While knowing the California Vehicle Code requirements are not being met. Regardless of whether it is a user's responsibility, Vactor manufacturer that I represent will not build a vehicle that doesn't meet these requirements, keeping you compliant and the community safe. Vector truck that we're representing is the most widely used sewer truck in your county, in your state, in your country, and in the world. And final, the consequences of not doing anything and approving a purchase to Plumbers Depot is wasteful spending on debris tanks, along with some additional safety vehicle code concerns. I would assume that a lot of balancing the budget over the last year and demonstrating fiscal responsibility from controlling and constantly reviewing what expenditures were being made and the costs associated with them along with the risk. As stated from the city manager, oftentimes controlling cost with expenditures since we cannot control revenue so easily. At this time, I'd like to ask the council once again to reconsider the approval to Plumbers Depot based on the tremendous amount of cost difference, along with Haker Equipment Company being the lowest responsive, compliant bidder. The cost differentiation is the largest I have seen in 15 years of being in this industry. The cost simply of the stainless steel stainless steel tanks? Because if the specification indicated stainless steel tanks and nothing else will be accepted, it wouldn't add up to $80,000. It would add up to about $30,000. If the council would like me to further explain and clarify on the material used by Haker Equipment Company, the material certification, mechanical properties, chemical analysis, wear characteristics, abrasion resistant, I'd be more than happy to further explain what X10 steel and the material that we use. I also have images, if the council would like to see, of the compliancy of the 36 inches that it's allowed on the front of the vehicle, and I have also pictures of the non-compliant vehicle. Thank you for your time, council, and please consider my argument and ask yourselves, why is there such a price difference to the city Calexico compared to other agencies, and what value is the city getting for $80,000? Especially when you are strapped. Thank you, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Council. If you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Thank you very much. Any questions? I think maybe what we'll do is we'll bring up Mr. Juan Martin from Plumbers Depot and then maybe ask a few questions after that.
Thank you.
Did you? I see it says item number 7. This is item number 6. Just a second. I just called the gentleman Juan Martin. Okay. You're with Plumbers Depot. Jose Martin. Okay.
Thank you, Council and Pro Team Mayor. On the GetVex truck, there's a big difference in price because our competitor, they're offering aluminum water tanks, which actually corrode after so much time. We're actually offering stainless steel water and stainless steel debris. So there's a big difference in cost there. Also, we're doing 6-inch vacuum relief valves. There's a lot of stuff that we do as that's standard that our competitors offer as an option. So that does make up the difference on the price. Oh, in regards to the actual bumper, we actually do put a bumper. So we do meet the California DOT regulations.
Okay. Any comments before we move on to any other public, because since they are the individuals who have submitted the bid. Any other comments, Mr. Rodriguez, that maybe you can add to this discussion?
I think legal can share with you what the options are that you have, and then maybe after she shares with you the options that we have, then maybe we can talk about, after we get your comments, we can talk about maybe where we want to go with this thing. But I think you should know what your options are at this point.
The council can go with the original recommendation that's in the staff report. That's option 1. The council can reject all the bids and rebid and direct staff to rebid this if you want that option, or the council can table this item for 2 weeks if you want staff to investigate some of the issues that Haker Equipment brought up, and then decide in 2 weeks whether to award the bid as proposed or change the recommendation if that's what's proposed.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez, your sheet here indicates item number 7. Do you want to modify your request to item number 6? It's not here, but did you want to comment on number 6 and number 7? Or, okay, you forgot number 6 then, okay.
City Council, ladies and gentlemen, I'm supporting the low bid. I saw that on the agenda, and I really questioned the standards that were utilized. And in the backup information, obviously, I didn't have it. And I think historically, we go with low bid. And I think the gentleman that articulated from Haycart made sense. It's very logical. There's no need to go 80,000 when we're strapped. I think it's cost effective, it's competent, and certainly I would believe him than an engineer and a city manager, because he's an expert at that field. And I think when you look at the standards and all the reasons that he stated, the standards that this gentleman used are validated as opposed to an engineer and city manager. So I would urge you to please reject this recommendation, the thing, and award it to this gentleman who's got more experience. And he just articulated. I mean, he was very logical. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. What are the wishes of the council?
I have a question. The current machinery we have right now, Mr. Servin, I know there's a question on the tanks.
Correct.
What is the material that the tanks are made of?
For the one we have right now,
Yeah,
it's stainless steel.
it's stainless steel. Okay.
And by the way, this was considered because of the operators. The operators are the key people that are going to be out there using the equipment, so they know better than an engineer. They oftentimes consult with the actual vendors to find out what is available and what they offer and what the good and the bad for each product being proposed. So we take the operators' considerations at stake.
Okay, so a stainless steel machinery would cost $380,000 and change. That's what we have before us.
That's correct.
The one proposed by Haker has aluminum, is that correct? And that's at $309,000.
Yes, yes, that's bottom line.
Does Haker make one with stainless steel? If so, how much would that cost?
I believe they can make one with stainless steel.
Would it be lower than the $380,000?
I'll let him address that.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, the current specification that you asked for, specifically on the water tanks, and I can read it's in page 3, I believe paragraph 3 or 4, but specifically on the water tanks, you had asked for stainless steel or aluminum. Our particular truck is automatically made with aluminum when it comes to the water tanks. The stainless steel is an option on the Vector truck. It can be purchased. The reason why I didn't bid it is because it says or equal. And knowing the nature that you're trying to get 15 years out of the truck, and specific on your warranty, the X10 steel that we configure our machine with exactly gets you that. Now, if we were to equip it and it said just stainless steel on the debris body, there's two different tanks on these trucks. There's the water tank, which is the fresh water, and the debris tank, which is the other where it holds the material. You can build that out of X10 steel, which we naturally build them out, but I can also build it in stainless steel. The reason why I didn't bid stainless steel is because your bid says or equal. If it had just stated stainless steel, I would have bid just stainless steel. Now the council asked, how much more money would that add to the bid? Would it get it to $389,000? And the answer is no. It'd approximately be about $30,000 in additional cost to the city. So therefore, I would be at $339,000, still saving the city $50,000. What doesn't make sense to me and why I'm here tonight is where does the other $50,000 come from? Because we're all using the same chassis.
Thank you.
And I would ask if you should have proposed stainless steel, and we would be here now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I also, if you want pictures, I have pictures of what these look like. So.
By the way, we do like his truck. It's a very nice truck.
Okay, before we move on to any other comments from anyone else, I think it's important that we hear the council and what comments we have within ourselves.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I may, maybe in order to move this subject matter forward, may I propose that we go ahead and table this matter for 2 weeks, give us a chance to look into the comments that were made, and then we'll bring it back at the next meeting and we'll make a decision.
Right. I think we would all appreciate that. Then we'll be tabling then item number 6. Very much appreciate your comments, but I think that more information would be very helpful for all of us to have a better understanding and make the best decision. Thank you so much. Okay, so item number 6 will be tabled. Moving on then to informational items. Item number 7, status on the business license delinquency list as of June 7th, 2012. And I have only one public comment from Mr. Gonzalez.
We've been dealing with this for about a year and a half, and I don't know when. I got here January 2011. I came across this, and we haven't resolved it. You know, it's a simple thing. We should solve it and end it tonight. I think what you need is a simple procedure. A procedure, number one, you send the person, the businessman or business person, a notice. And if he doesn't pay the second time, you go close the business, put a lien on the property, and that's it. Quit trying to beat a dead horse. Do it tonight. Take action. City manager should come up with a city policy, and that's it. There's no need for you guys to come back and table anything else. Do it tonight. Do a procedure. Simple.
Okay. Okay. Back then to informational items, item number 7. Just to make note, the package that you received a couple of days ago with the agenda backup did have a report of the business licenses dated June 7th. However, I hope that you did receive an updated list with some corrections. So we'll be looking at this list. Is there any comments?
Yes, a comment I'd like to make is a couple of comments. Number one, we are following procedure. It certainly would be nice if we could just padlock people if they don't pay. But there are procedures that we have to go through. And if it was as simple as Mr. Gonzalez said, we would get paid real quick because we just padlock everybody. But unfortunately, we can't do that. But the good news is that this is on your agenda because we want to continue to review this. We want to make sure that we continue to monitor what is going on, and we want you to know what we are doing and what we are doing if it's working or not. To give you an idea, we went back and took a report dated March 7th of this year, and we then took what the delinquency list was back on March 7th, and then we compared it to the current delinquency list of June 7th. So you have basically 3 months of activity where we were trying to put procedures into place in order to be able to collect this type of money that's outstanding. The numbers that we have is that on the amounts of accounts that were opened at that time in March versus today in June, we have closed 206 accounts. Now, what does that mean? That means that in March of 2007, we actually had, for example, in city limits, we had $238,000 that was outstanding. In June, 3 months later, we then brought that down to $119,000 that's outstanding. So we want to show you that we're making progress on this. So the closed, paid, and collections that took place during those 3 months were $118,000. So we are moving forward. We are collecting that. On the out-of-town, we had, back on March 7th, we had a delinquency list of 38,000. As of June 7th, our delinquency was 28,000. So we've lowered that on closed, paid, or collected items by $10,000. On the swap meets, we had an outstanding balance in March of 147,000 outstanding, and then June 7th of this year, we have 132,000. So I think the point is that we are moving forward on collecting these items as we enforce the requirements. One of the things that was brought up earlier in the year and was very appropriate is that the city itself was not enforcing on our purchase orders the fact that we were purchasing from vendors who did not have business licenses. And that was very well taken, and the procedures are in place, and we are now currently do that. Every purchase order that comes through our offices where department heads are looking to purchase either services or product from vendors requires that they identify that there is an active business license on file. If they do not have an active business license on file and is not on the purchase order, then we send it back to the department and say, we will not go ahead and enforce that or allow that purchase until that vendor has a business license on file. So again, we are moving forward. We put this before you so that you can see what we're doing, and you can see that, in fact, we are lowering that delinquency rate. There will always be a delinquency rate, unfortunately, because some people get behind, they don't pay, but I think it's our responsibility to lower that delinquency rate as much as possible. And you will hopefully have seen through the numbers that I've given you tonight that it is working. But again, we want to make sure that you see these lists so you're aware of the fact that these delinquency lists are going down.
Okay, any comments? Mr. Hodge.
Yes, just want to be clear, Mr. Rodriguez, because I was going to make a request, a city council request. The businesses that we are doing business currently, what you just explained as far as the purchase orders, we are not allowing that to proceed if they have not currently paid their business license, is that correct?
That is correct. In our procedure, it requires that a purchase order, before it can be authorized, they identify, the person requesting it, the department requesting it, identify that there is an active business license from that vendor. Otherwise, we ship it back to the department until there is an active business license.
That is definitely an improvement, and since when have we put that into effect? How long has that been going on? Just curious.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I know that that was brought up to my attention 2-3 months ago.
About 3 months? Okay.
Any other comments?
No, thank you for the information. I think it's moving forward. I think it's good.
Just a question, Mr. Rodriguez, how often are we going to be presented with the information on the statuses for the business licenses?
I was trying to remember what the council policy was. I believe it said every other month. We'd have to look it up, but I think it's every other month we're required to bring that to you.
Would it be possible when we are presented with the status on the business licenses delinquencies to also be updated on the activity that's related to that from code enforcement in Mr. Morales' department? Because it basically goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it does go hand in hand because as part of the efforts that are going on, not only on our purchase orders and our purchasing from vendors, there also is the code enforcement aspect that is also going on at the same time. So in fact, this is not from any one particular individual or group that has accomplished this. It's a whole mechanism that we're using, whether it be through our own purchases or through code enforcement. So certainly we can have a report put together that will go along with your business license report.
Okay, very well. Any other comments before we move on? Okay, very good. Now moving on to future agenda items. Start off with Mr. Moreno.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Castro.
Yes, I would like to have in the public council meeting that the update on the Ground Plaza. We already did the groundbreaking, and I received too many calls on that. I would like to hear that, and especially in the public council meeting. So I want to hear more about that.
I could comment on it now if you'd like.
Sure. Please.
We are currently working on the financial aspect of it along with the procedural aspect of it. There are, as you know, the project is about a $93 million project. And so there is a certain percentage that the city is involved with in order to provide some public improvements. As part of providing those public improvements, there is the financing mechanism that goes along with that in order to make that happen. We are right now moving information back and forth between ourselves and the developers to try to make sure that we're all in agreement as to what that financial mechanism that is going to be utilized, that we're all in agreement as to what that is. To break it down, we hope that in a couple of weeks that will be provided to the developers, and at that point in time, hopefully, everybody will come to consensus that that's the financial mechanism that will be utilized to move forward with the final piece on the development. They have pulled the grading permits for the site. We are moving forward with the agreement in order to sell the property that is known as the Gun Club, which will be part of the parcels that are needed in order to put this development forward. As you know, there has made it a little more difficult because since the elimination of RDAs, there is now an oversight board that these type of sales have to go to. So we are in the process of moving that forward to the successor entity and the oversight board to get their concurrence so that we can move forward with the sale. So there's basically 3 agreements that we're working on. One is the purchase, a sale of the Gun Club property. 2 is the assignment of that property, because in the meantime, they will be working on the project, so they need an assignment onto the property. So we're working on that. And then the 3rd item is a deal point memorandum, which is the document that then talks about how the participation that we have as a public agency and the public improvements that we are committed to, how that's going to work. So we're hoping that all those 3 agreements are actually going to be going to the developer within the next 2 weeks, and then they'll have some decisions to make, and then hopefully we all agree on how we're going to move forward with it, and then at that point in time, you will see hopefully some physical action taking place at the site.
Thank you for your information.
Yeah. Mr. Hodge. Mr. Hodge.
Some stakeholders are concerned. You said a couple of weeks, Mr. City Manager. Do you think that's a reasonable amount of time, or could it be expedited faster?
We're pushing as fast as we can. The deal points is one of the most important part of that particular development, because that talks about how the financing is going to be put together. And so that is a very complicated type of document, and the developer, the owner, has to agree to that. So that's the most complicated portion of this whole thing. And then there's some procedural things that we have to go through. But once that is agreed to, then we know we've got basically all the pieces as far as the financing put together.
Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, sure. Yeah, don't you think urban future is delaying this process? For me, that is too much. Urban future. I mean, because supposedly they advise us how to deal with this process. And for me, it's been almost a month working on this issue, and that is cost more money to the city of Calexico. I mean, I wanna hear results on this, because I mean, I read in the papers, we did the groundbreaking, and also there is a time, and everything is a time frame from. It has to be a time frame for everything. Why? Because that costs money to the city of Calexico. And I wanna hear more about this, because it's delaying the process. This project been almost 9 years. I mean, this project is almost. The city of Calexico is working with this issue for almost 9 years. Well, and I know this is not your administration, Oscar. But right now, we need to move forward on this issue.
Well,
That's my
Castro,
point. That's my point. That's the way I see it.
Mr. Castro, may I interrupt?
Yes.
Being that it looks like there is more than a simple question, would it be more appropriate that there be maybe a presentation with an update?
Well, there's only so much I can tell you, only because some of these issues are very delicate issues, and some of these issues do qualify for executive session. And when we deal with developers, you know, there's certain things that we want to keep between the council and the developers until we're time to be able to put it out. But the one issue, because people don't understand how to put projects together, don't realize what it takes to put one of these projects together. You're absolutely right. It has taken, from when I met Mr. Haman, it was 9 years ago. Now, he wasn't working on the project back then, but I did meet him. But one of the things that I think is very important to understand is that the whole redevelopment issue did not occur until, what, the end of last year. That threw a whole spin on this project, because if you will recall, we were going to be using bond proceeds in order to fund part of this development. That's where the city was going to come in. If you remember, we floated a bond, and with that bond, that was going to be the money that we were going to put in some infrastructure. Since then, as you will recall, back in December, the Supreme Court handed down their ruling. And basically, we are still trying to figure out whether we can even use bond proceeds to be able to put this project together. And at this point, the administration of our governor, Brown, is taking the position that you will not be able to use bond proceeds. So the whole structure of how we put this project together originally, back in December, kind of started evaporating, because not because of us, not because of anybody, not the council, but more because of the Supreme Court ruling and the position that the Department of Finance for the state of California has taken. So that has thrown a whole spin on this thing. So now we have had to say, okay, so if that option isn't available, then what's the next option? And that's the option that we're working on. So believe me, we all want to see this project go. I think it's a signature project for the city, and I think we are all in agreement that we need to find a way to make this thing happen. And so that's where we're at, and again, we are hoping that in a 2 weeks period, we will have some of these documents done so that we can meet with the developer and move it forward.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So go ahead.
Oscar, it bothers me that you say that it's complicated. I believe it is, the finances, but, and I believe that that's true, but it doesn't set with me, because that could be used as a screen, as a, we need, and we do great business with Urban Futures. They're a vital part of our progress here in the city. But they, just like everybody else, they need accountability. If you can't tell us a lot of detail, we should have some type of update or report. And Councilman Castro is absolutely correct. I mean, this city's got to get on board as far as action plans and timelines. So I would urge to talk to Urban Futures and give us some kind of general outline or a timeline, so that we know that we are moving along in a proper way, that we're not dragging our feet, that we're not stalling, because it is true. This is at the cost of the Calexico City taxpayers. That's my comment on that.
Okay, but that's a comment. Did you want it as a future agenda item is where we're at right now?
All right, that sounds good to me,
No, okay.
but I have others too.
Okay, well, did you want to continue?
Is it my turn?
I believe so. We jumped up around there, but that's okay, go ahead.
No, I was just adding on what Councilman Castro said. Okay, I have a few. I'm requesting, again, a strategic financial action plan. I know we have a new subcommittee on Parks and Recreation. So to go along in tandem with this new subcommittee on installing, if I have the correct usage here, water timers in all our city parks, so that we can equalize the treatment and the maintenance, so that we don't have one park bone dry like the desert, and the others right across the street lush and dry and beautiful and an oasis, and you look over there, what the heck is going on? So that I would appreciate, at least some kind of action plan. Let's move on this. The other one, again, I'm requesting an action plan on Measure D funds pertaining to timelines and expenditures on our city roads and streets. I know that it seems far and few between in time when we're all working on the roads, I'd like to have rationale, explanation for that. I'd like to see it as to, my pet focus here is on Cold Road. Well, we're actually, I think you did tell us, Mr. Savine, but I like things on paper. I like it right in front. I like it on the wall. I like it everybody looking at it, talking about it, and it's in their head all the time. Okay. Take care of the delinquent business license. That was settled by our city manager comments. The next one, this is with all due respect to Chief Newjar and the police department. I made an impromptu visit at the dispatch center, and I believe enough is enough. The city should at all times have at least 2 certified dispatchers on duty per shift. And I was told that that's not the case. Now, if I need to be corrected, that's fine. We must effective immediately institute this level of service. It's a critical matter of public safety. The dispatchers are the heart and brains of the police department and public safety. Here in Calexico, because of our close relationship to the border, the dispatchers are inundated, overwhelmed with police, fire, and 911 incoming calls. It's so bad that with only 1 dispatcher on shift, that at times they have had to put suicide calls on hold. On hold. Hold, I'll get right back to you. Furthermore, having only 1 dispatcher per shift, I believe, is exploitive towards the dispatchers. I was told that dispatchers work 10 to 12 hours per shift with no appropriate breaks. Not being able to properly leave the station for a bathroom break or to step outside into the fresh air because they're holed in there for 10, 12 hours. They have to eat their lunch while on duty at their workstation. These working conditions are wrong, and I believe, and probably in violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act or Board. I know that the city is on a tight budget restraints. I know that, and we have to be very careful. But there are some areas of service that the city cannot take shortcuts. Public safety is one of them. After all, with us being such a close community, an emergency improper response could, God forbid, tragically affect one of you or your loved ones. I hope I have the full support of the council, the city manager, and staff to correct this dangerous situation immediately. So again, I'll make it simple. Prove to me and us that we have 2 dispatchers per shift operating. So 1 can have the time to go to the bathroom, 1 could step aside and go have a lunch, clear their mind, because that's a very stressful job. And I'm not saying we don't, but if we don't even care about them, then look in the terms of the larger picture about public safety, because they are juggling and doing all kinds of things all at once. Okay. I also heard they're in the process of training while they're doing their job.
Okay, so as far as the future agenda item, how would you like that
to take care of it, so next time
as
I
an
hope
agenda
it's
item, you want it as an informational
well, what are
item
the
or presentation?
possibilities? Let's find the money.
Well, let me ask you this. You've got this information from somebody, but
I went there.
You went there. Did you speak to administration?
No, I did not.
Well, I think it would be prudent if you would, speak to both sides and get information.
I'm opening it up. I'm bringing it out.
But speak to them without bringing it up here. You can speak to them when you're over there and say have an
I
appointment.
have brought this up a couple of times last year.
So as a future agenda item, what if we were to have that
Let's
information?
investigate and give a report.
Okay, sounds great.
So an informational item from the PD?
We'll prepare something and bring it back as an informational item.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
That's it? Okay. As far as future agenda items, the only item that I believe would be appropriate at this time would be maybe to hear from the Measure H committee, because I understand we've been doing quite a bit of expenses from the Measure H monies, and to understand where they stand at this point with the balance of monies available for Measure H and the activity that's been occurring since the last time they reported. So,
Did you want to hear from Measure H, or do you want us to
Yeah.
just give you some information
Sure.
to you?
Measure H.
Okay.
Representative. Okay? I guess that's me. Not now, though. I would say well presented, so. I know you know your information very well, but something well presented. Like Mr. Hodge says, something we can see. Okay, so I believe that is it. Any other further information or questions? And unbelievably, this meeting is adjourned.
There's a
We
council-
have a,
we have
Oh,
one
we
more
are going to
closed
be going
session
into closed
item.
session again?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be
Briefly.
going into closed session. We'll return after that's over.